if you're a Christian, you know that you are married to Christ first before you marry to any man or any woman. So we know when you have a relationship with somebody, you have to spend time with them. You have to talk to them and you have to spend time with them. And that's how you keep your relationship going. Now, when you have a physical relationship, whether it's your wife or your husband, you don't just wake up every morning, you go to work, and then come home and go to sleep. And then at the end of the week, you want to be with that person. That's just not going to work because all week the person you didn't check in with them. So it would be almost like strange to think at the end of the week that you could just hop on and just want to be intimate or whatever. So if you spend all week, you haven't talked to God, and then now you come and you sitting down, you expect for God to just show up, His presence overwhelm you, you speaking in tongues, you're doing all that stuff because the presence of God is so. No, He's gonna feel distance because all week you didn't spend any time with Him at all. Now you have to actually work it out and just keep worshiping and praying until the presence of God comes. Even though God said He will be with you always, which He is. When you are married, your husband and your wife is with you all the time, in spirit or in physically. When you Because you and your husband or your husband and you are one. So when one is being seen, both of them are being seen. So the same thing. The Lord is one with you. When they see you, they see the Lord. When the world see you, the world see the Lord. Because the Lord said, you are one with Him as He is one with the Father. So that's a relationship. Now, I sometimes when there is an argument or fight in a relationship between a man and a female, what I didn't know, what I've learned from a bishop, believe it or not, the bishop, is that when you are fighting with your husband or your wife, you don't use your body to attack him or use your body to punish him. It's like saying, okay, God, I'm mad at you. I'm gonna worship you, but I'm not gonna really give my heart to you. Like, I'm gonna be so closed up that you're not gonna be able to come and you can't manifest yourself to me. I will not speak in tongues. We won't say that. Why? Because you want God. If you say that, then God won't show up, and then you're just gonna be left out there like that. And we all want to be with God. How can you say you want to be how can you be married and think you could just be alone by yourself? You will never be fulfilled because half of you is another person. When you get married, you become one with that person. So spiritually, no matter where that person go, that person is always with you. And wherever you go, that person is always with you. And we carry a ring, we're a ring that signify that we're married. We have a husband or wife. But spiritually, you are still walking with that person in your spirit. Because if that relationship ended just because you physically in the marriage, it doesn't mean that the marriage is still not happening. The marriage, from the moment you get into this covenant of marriage, that marriage goes through the bloodline. So you could be separated from your husband, but that thing is going through the bloodline. Now your children are going to have to face divorce. Your children are going to have to face situation that you didn't overcome. Not that God doesn't judge you for it, but the bloodline doesn't hide. The bloodline is alive. So things like that goes through the bloodline, and this is something we cannot control. Even though God forgave us, God bless you with another person, you got remarried again, it doesn't mean the first marriage never happened. Now your children are going to have to overcome the first marriage because it went through the bloodline, through your line, that there was a divorce. So now they have to overcome that demon that came into that covenant of marriage. And they're gonna have to fight. And if you got divorced twice, the double the work that they have to work to be able to keep one marriage. And plus, the devil doesn't like to see marriages because it's like you coming together with the Lord as one. He hates marriages because it's a representative of your relationship with God. So being in a marriage, you cannot use your body to punish the other person because your body belongs to the other person and his body belongs to you. So how could you can't deny him your body when your body belongs to him, and vice versa. Just like you cannot deny God from coming to you because he is one with you. And if he's not with you, you're going to feel unfulfilled. There's going to be some sort of emptiness that is there. So there is a covenant of marriage spiritually with the Lord. There's a covenant of marriage spiritually with your husband or your wife. The bishop told me this. The bishop told me, no matter how much you fight, no matter how much you argue, you don't stop having sex. I know this might be really crazy and hard for most people. You don't. Most women would say, I'm gonna cut him off. He ain't getting none. That is what the devil wants. When you are married, this is a covenant that you are in. And every time you have every time you become physical with your husband, you are renewing your covenant. So if you're fighting with your husband or you're fighting with your wife, the first thing you say is that you're not going to sleep with each other. That means your covenant is going to get weaker and weaker, and the devil is plotting. The devil is plotting. Because you are made to be one. Just like you go a whole week and not check in with God, it's going to be so hard for you to get back into your relationship with him. Yes, he's there always. Yes, you are still in that covenant with him. But if you don't spend time with him, people are going to think you're not even saved. It's like you walking with emptiness. All kinds of problem comes. But when you renew your covenant with God, how you renew your covenant with God is when you come and you come into his presence and you check in with him every day and you praising him and you worship him. When his presence comes and manifests in you, that's every time that happens, you are renewing your covenant with him, because your relationship with him is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. If you think I'm lying, spend 7 days every single day. Get intimate with your lover. Get intimate with your husband or your wife. You will see how strong and how close you are at the end of the week. If the first thing you say is that I will not be intimate with my husband, it's the worst thing you could say. Because as a husband, he has a seed he needs to release every so often. And you are like a tree. You are like a tree that is planted in the ground. You need the seed to keep growing. If you don't get the seed, you become barren. And if he doesn't release his seed, he doesn't reap the harvest. Oh my God. He doesn't reap the harvest. When a man is coming to you because he wants to be intimate with you, he wants to release his seed. And your job is to is to receive the seed and become fruitful. How do you become fruitful when you already have kids? You already do all that. How you become fruitful? Okay, if you're in the place where you're not having kids anymore, the whole point of this, yes, you come together, you enjoy that moment, and then it's to bear children. But if you're not having kids, you are still receiving that seed, and that seed is still being released, because it needs to be released. It needs to be in your body. It needs to be released from him to you, because that keeps you closer, because he keeps adding his seeds in you. Now, he can't just put a seed on a dry ground. It's just not going to work. He cannot put his seed on the dry ground. As a woman, you have to be in a place where you can receive his seed all the time. How do you become that? How do you receive a seed when you're not even, if you're not happy, you're going through menopause, whatever that could be going on, and you're angry and you're mad? When you are like this, he doesn't want to come to you. Even if you guys get intimate, it doesn't make him feel that urge to come, because you're angry, you're not open, he can't sense you, he can't feel you. You remember, he's like, he was made out of the ground just like every animals. So he's looking for that connection, like that connection when you first met him, and it was just, he's looking for that connection. He's looking for that he's looking for that soil that he could release his seed from, so he could reap the harvest. Okay, so you have to find a way to bring yourself into a place of joy. I don't know how this works. It's a struggle for some of us that are struggling or having relationship issues. It's a struggle, but this is, like, if you can get this, this is gonna save your life. You have to get closer to God. Remember that relationship I told you about? You need to be closer to God all the time. Because as you are closer to the Lord is releasing his blessing upon you because you are in a relationship with God. When you go to him and you worshiping and you praising him, you are in his presence. He's feeding you, and you receive his seed. You receive his seed. How are you receiving the seed? His power is being manifested in you. You are in his presence. Now, as a woman, your face will begin to glow. Your face will begin to glow. You look like a fruit that needs to be harvested. So you are worshiping with God and you building that strong foundation with God, because when you argue with your husband and you're struggling trying to like figure out things, you have that foundation you could go to, and as you go to him you become glowy, and the more beautiful you are in the presence of God is the more desirable you're going to be to your husband. Believe me or not. So that's what he's looking for. That is the ground he wants to put his seed in. So it's so important to have that relationship with God, because when he sees you, whether you recognize him looking at you or not, when he sees you, he's looking for that connection all the time. I didn't know about this. All the time he's looking for that experience. He's looking, it's not something that is spoken. It's something that he feels. And so how do you become fruitful? How do you become a ground that he wants to go and release his seed from? So you have to have a better relationship with God. Your relationship with God has to be really good, because with that relationship with God, he's going to admire your love. He's going to admire your relationship with God. He's going to love that in you, that you love God on that level, and that is attracted to him. And you are also going to look like a very glossy fruit that he wants to just pluck out and just eat and do whatever he wants. Okay, so that's what you need. You need to have that relationship with God. You need to be in a place of joy. You have to be in a place where you're happy. We're supposed to be happy. We were made to be happy. We were made to enjoy life. We were made to explore. We were made to be beautiful. I mean, a woman can be smart. A woman can have this. A woman could have that. First thing they look at is she beautiful. So you need to be admirable. This is so serious. A man can say, I don't care about this. No, yeah, they do. They care about it. Your relationship with the Lord, when he comes to you, that's what he's gonna see, is the presence of God on you, the glory of God. That's why you see some women, they're just so glory. I walk into a store one time. This woman, she was so beautiful. She was just so beautiful. I said, "You so beautiful. You smell good. You must be in a relationship. You in love, aren't you?" She was crying. She's like, "Yes, I found love." She's like, "I found love. I had a baby and things didn't work out. And I met this guy and I found love. I'm happy. I feel good." She was so glowy. She was so beautiful. If you don't serve God, there's other ways you can try to find joy. But that joy lasts longer than any joy in the world. But you have to be in a place of joy and happy and fulfillment. Something has to be fulfilling to you beside your husband. You have to have some sort of fulfillment somehow, somewhere. This is something I'm still learning myself. Because at the end of the day, it's not love that you have for your children. There are men that love their wives on that level. There are men that loves that way. But the majority of the time, it's not the love that you have for your children. That's how people fall out of love. That's how people get divorced and they separated. If you think a man love you because of the way you are, and because you don't stay the way you are, you change, you evolve over time. And so how do you become a ground that he wants to lay his seed in? You have to have that atmosphere on you, that atmosphere of joy, happy. I mean, even if you're not happy, even if you're going through something, there's there's got to be a place of openness in you, because he wants to come in. He wants to come in. He wants to manifest himself on you. The Lord wants to fellowship with you. He wants to come in and manifest himself on you. You have to be open for the Lord, or else he's not coming. You have to be open for your husband, or else he ain't coming. Same thing. Just one is spiritual and one is physical. You are married to the Lord and you are married to your husband. So when he comes, he always want to come. And when he comes, he wants to go into a fertile ground. Now, when he comes to your fertile ground and he decides that he's going to lay his seed there. Now, if he's happy, because he doesn't get away with that either. If he's happy, great, amazing. You come together, he drop his seed, you receive that. And when you receive that, if he's happy, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna wake up in the morning. You're gonna smell like, I don't know. You ever? I know what love smells like. There's a smell that you have on you when you're happy. You're joyful. Like the woman at the store was glowing because the seed she's receiving was a good seed, a good fruit, a good seed, a happy seed. Now, what happens when the man is not happy? So when the man is not happy and he releases his seed in you, he release, right? He release himself. When he release himself, all that emotion goes through with it and goes in you. And now you are harvesting this seed. Every atmosphere of that seed comes in you. You ever see sometime after sex you become, so you become like stress. You start crying. You want to lay your head on him, and he's ready to pass out. He's out. He just released himself. He's out. You want to lay yourself on him. You want to talk to him. You do all that. He's out. If he's a happy seed, you'll get up, go to the kitchen and cook and make him something to eat and get some of your happy stuff. But if it's a sad, if he's sad and frustrated and overwhelmed, all that energy just goes in you. Now you become depressed and stressed because that seed he dropped in was a weight. So how do you replenish that? You go back to the word. You bless your husband, you go back to the word. You bless your husband, you go back to the word. You bless your husband because he's gonna come in and release himself again. So you keep feeding this tree, because if you don't feed the tree's not gonna be able to handle the next wave. So you have to have something that brings you joy, something that's gonna get you out of that rut that you are in, because you don't want to not have sex, because you need to renew your you need to enjoy that, you need to be there for each other. You do it to, but if he's stressed, that is dangerous. So, and he wants to keep releasing himself because you're fertile. So, and then every time he does, he harvests from you. If you're married to somebody that's not saved, every time he sleeps with you, he harvests power. He harvests from you because he releases seed. He's harvesting. He's getting the harvest from the seed. If you pay attention, every time you sleep with your husband, the next day his mind is clear. He's gonna start building. He's gonna start creating. He's got all these ideas because he harvests from you. He harvests power from you. That's why it's not good for women to walk around like barren or naked, because you expose. And as you go out there, men are talking to you, and as they're talking to you, they harvest from you. Whether they're talking to you, they're harvesting from you. And if they release, they really harvest everything from you. If he stressed, you stress. When he released himself, he take whatever you had. And if he keeps going there and keep going there and keep going there and keep going there, and then he's not harvesting and getting that power, eventually he's gonna want to stop. That's why men go, he's gonna want to stop because he's not harvesting enough power. I mean, he's doing this, not even thinking that he's doing it. And let me tell you something. The reason the woman is sometimes dry and can't be fruitful is because remember I said we are a tree planted on a ground. So if we are a tree planted in the ground for men to come and harvest from, who's tilling the tree? Who's taking care of the tree? Remember, God didn't cause it to rain because there was no man to till the ground. You're a tree planted in the ground, right? Let me go even further. The man finds you and he sees you, he finds you interested. He's like, this is somebody I could, spend my life with. And he chose you to be his wife. Now he takes you and he plants you as a tree on a foundation that is strong. Now you can't just plant a tree on a foundation that is strong and not care for it. Remember, God created Adam. There was nobody to till the ground. There was nobody to be there. And he created men out of his own image. And he put him in the garden with Eve. Eve is like the tree planted in the ground. God didn't say for for Eve to go work. He wasn't thinking about Eve. He was thinking about Adam. But then he saw Adam was alone with all the animals. Like, I gotta make another him, but a female version of him. So the man is supposed to keep the tree fertile. How does he keep the tree fertile? He has to keep the woman happy. Doesn't matter what's going on in his life. He has to keep the woman happy. How does he keep the woman happy? You ever wonder why women love flowers or roses? A woman can be having a bad day and you bring them some flowers and roses. I mean, I love roses. Love flowers. Love roses. I love to smell them. Why? Because we were made in the garden. Out of Adam's ribs. We were created in the garden. When we woke up, or when we were born, when God created us, we saw plants everywhere. There was a lake there were 4 different lakes. There were fruits and vegetables. It was a green environment. 4 heads of water, 4 different body of water flowing through that garden, fruits and vegetables everywhere. Flowers, water. That's what we are used to. So to be able to be fertile, to be happy, we have to be in an environment that feeds us and take care of us. Husband, you can't just come home and say hi, bye, and go play video games, and then 3 days later you want to hop on the mattress and release your seed. No. Did you till the ground? Did you tender the tree? If you don't take care of the tree is gonna wither and not be able to bear any fruit. And if it doesn't bear any fruit, eventually the tree will die. Without love, we can't survive this world without love. We need love. You have to tender the ground. You have to show your wife love. Men has to take care of the tree. How do you take care of the tree? How do you make sure the plant don't die? You water the plant, you take care of the plant, you say nice thing to the plant, and the plant will begin to bloom, 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 bloom. Even though the woman is going to God and having something that they do that brings them joy, the husband is one of that unit, but the woman can't make the husband do that. The husband has to know when he comes, he has to take care of the tree. He has to take care of the tree, that the tree is happy. How is a tree happy? He has to be a leader. He has to be a leader. She has to have somebody that she can follow and respect. If she can't follow you, it's hard to respect. If your word is not bond, it's hard for her to respect you. So you lead the household. You lead the household. You set up an example for the household that is attractive to a woman. You have to lead. You have to nourish the tree. Look at the tree. The tree's so beautiful. The tree's sitting before you. Look at the tree. Touch the tree. If you touch a person, then it's you caressing the person without being physically. Not all the time physical. but tender the tree for when you want to release your seed. Because if you don't tender the tree, when you go get the harvest from the tree, there'll be no fruit. You're trying to harvest from your wife, but she doesn't have any fruit because you didn't tender the tree. You tend to the tree, you take care of the tree, you water the tree. How do you water the tree? By showing love, by showing affection, by when you come home every so often, bring some flowers. Send a little note that say, I was thinking of you. Oh, I love you. You're so beautiful. Let that tree be the most beautiful tree in the whole world, even though the tree is not, but let that tree be the most beautiful tree you ever seen or laid your eyes on. Because that tree will make you happy. That tree will stand beside you. That tree will give up everything for you. That tree will follow you to the moon. You have to tend to the tree. And the tree's job is to look at Jesus and continue to blossom because you're taking care of the tree. Because that's what God put Adam in the garden for, to till the ground. Well, after the sin, yes, for him to till the ground, but he thought of Adam because there was nobody to till the ground. And when Adam was born, everything was already set for them. All they had to do was live. All they had to do was live. So the man has to care for the tree. So when you care for the tree and you go to the tree to get your harvest, you're going to be able to pluck your fruit, get your harvest from the tree, and the tree is going to grow more fruit because it's being cared for. So when you go into your wife and you harvest power from her, because when you release yourself in her and you take power from her. And how you give that power back is you wake up in the morning, you kiss on her and tell her how beautiful she is. You say all these nice things to her. And as you talk to the tree on that level, the tree become to blossom. Blossom, blossom, blossom. The tree will go out smelling like, not sex, but smelling like love. Just happy and glowy. Because that tree have a relationship with God because God created that tree. And then there's the husband that is tending the tree, making sure the tree's happy. And then now the tree is going to bear fruits and have all kinds of leaves on it. And you could pluck how many leaves you want, how many stuff you want, and that tree will continue to be fruitful for you. So when you go into that tree, you release your seed, you're going to harvest the power. You're going to reap the harvest, and it's going to be a good harvest. Therefore, nobody is struggling. Nobody's struggling. But if you keep going into that tree and release yourself into that tree, and that tree don't have a unit to get refuel to grow, that tree's gonna become barren, dried up, and die. So when you don't take care of your wife in that sense, when you come into her, it's gonna be dry. She's not gonna be happy. She's not gonna be open. She have nothing. But if she has God, she can survive. Even though you take from her, she harvested back in the word. But you make it harder for her because God forbid she's not able to spend time with God. It's gonna be weak. And then you wanna, release yourself again and you take whatever power she had left. And now she's crying and depressed. A woman can have a lot of problems, but if she have love and she's being cared for, the problems won't mean anything. She would still be a place for you to harvest. I don't know if this makes sense for anybody. But if you don't tender that tree's going to be barren. That tree's not going to be happy. It's going to be dried. Oh, there's something wrong with her. She's just mean. No, she's not mean. She's hurt. She's not being watered. She's not being loved. So she's being withered away slowly. My father and my mother, they were so in love. Man, they were so in love. those people, they were just so into each other. But when he died, she was slowly dying. Even afterwards, she found love. It wasn't like the love she had before. She died of a broken heart. She was barren for 7 years. Because after he died, 7 years later, she died. She was barren for 7 years. By the time she died, she had no strength, nothing. So a covenant of marriage is very important. Having sex in your marriage is very important. And wife, how do you keep your husband happy? Have a relationship with God. Have a life of your own somehow. But there are men out there, you don't need to have a life of your own. They'll just, do everything for you. But there are those men out there that you need to have your own thing. But even if you're not working or you don't have like a career, have a relationship with God. Because having a relationship with God, you're gonna know how to serve Him, and you're gonna know how to take care of His children. You're gonna know how to love Him. You're gonna know how to be there for Him. He just wants you to be a home. He wants you to be a home, and He wants respect, but He needs to learn how to lead. He needs to lead. He needs to lead.